Welcome to another episode of People Worth Knowing About. Today we're going to be talking about Pedro Cavadas. The first thing that you should know about him is that he's a Spanish surgeon and he's famous for his humanitarian work in Africa and in Spain. He was born in 1965. His dad was a lawyer and his mom a housewife. He graduated in medicine in the University of Valencia, and he specialized himself in plastic surgery. He finished and completed his studies in the United States. He has been a pioneer in so many things. Pedro Cavadas is a pioneer in the field of complex reconstructive surgeries, such as limb transplants and surgical techniques that have never been done before, that are extremely risky and that most surgeons don't even dare to try. You must just take a quick look at the internet to see all the amazing things he's done for people. People that literally were condemned to death. He turned their lives around. I'm just going to read a couple of examples of things he's achieved, and then I'll go into details in another one. In March 2004, he conducted a groundbreaking operation by keeping an amputated arm alive for 9 days. Picture this, because this is absolutely insane. What he did was connected the arm to the veins and arteries of the patient's own leg for 9 days. And then he reattached it. Success. Also in December 2006, he performed a double hand and forearm transplant on a woman called Valencia. She was 47 years old and she had lost her hands 23 years before in a chemistry class explosion. She became the world's first woman to receive a forearm transplant, the 7th person globally, and the first in Spain. He's been a pioneer in so many things, but especially in Spain. He and his team conducted the first facial transplant, which also included transplanting the tongue and the throat. I cannot even imagine how someone is just so brave to do such things. You might say, oh, plastic surgeons do these things, but it's far from the truth, because most of the cases that he's become famous and well known for, those people were told, you're just going to die, you have no choice. He's also very well known for having a foundation named just as himself, Pedro Cavadas, and he's known for working in Africa. So what he does is he goes with his team, which is a very small team of people, because they go in a small truck, right? Literally picking up people from the streets. Being a really, really, really well-known and professional and educated surgeon, once they see someone, they know the issue they might have. And they might know if just with a very simple surgery, that person might have such a big life improvement. The life's quality might be extremely improved. So they just go with the lorry, a small team, because yes, it literally says they want to be able to pick up as many people as possible. And in such area, most people cannot really afford healthcare, and also it's not really that they cannot afford it, they're not even given a treatment, or that they don't even know what they have. So imagine, right? But they do know that something is wrong with them, so they will see someone with an issue, they will stop, tell them that they can help them for free, really important, obviously. And most of the time, the person just wants the help because they know that they have a big issue.
So, okay, looks good.
And that's also what he's known for, because it will be so easy to just do your work, your 9 to 5, your whatever, and then go home. And that's like most plastic surgeons probably do, which is totally fine, and they're absolutely amazing just the way they are. This person it's something else. He's out of the box. He's someone that deserves to be known. And I bet in Spain, I asked someone in the street, who is Pedro Cavadas? They will not know, especially young people. And I think he deserves to be known. I know he doesn't try to be known, he doesn't really care, but I love that he's known also for his foundation, Pedro Cavadas. So more people that know him, I guess the more help that he can receive, right? And now I'm going to talk about the two cases that really stayed with me, because I've been reading a lot about him and I've known about his existence for years, but I really wanted to see what really touched me more and I felt like melted my heart more. So I'm going to share these two cases. The first case was a woman called Salma, Moroccan woman. She lived in Casablanca, okay, and she had a tumor, basically on half of her face. She had not been given a diagnosis. Basically, it was like, we don't know what you have. You know, that's strange. You'll probably die. That's it. Left to die, isolated, or flower. Because this is the issue in countries like this. It's not just like they don't know what she has. It's that she becomes isolated, and in most cases, even her own family abandons her. They're like, you're not ours, you know. So that tumor, obviously, untreated, no diagnosis, kept growing and growing and growing. And even after, and especially when she got pregnant with the first child, it grew so much more. She could not even see. Half of her face was just covered by this piece of meat. Even her husband treated her poorly and mistreated her constantly for this reason. I cannot explain how lonely she must have felt. It must have been horrible to be left alone and isolated from your whole society and not be socially accepted just because of a health issue. How did she get help? Okay, so she was in a park with her two children, and another woman that lived in Valencia, called also Salma, was there on a holiday and covering half of her face with her own hijab. So Salma, very curious, spoke to her, trying to see what happened. And then she saw half of her face with the tumor, right? And she was really shocked, of course. What did Salma from Valencia do? She called a foundation that works in Valencia called ADRA. And it basically works and it focuses on helping people develop themselves, people that especially need that help, and also humanitarian works. So basically, she told them the issue this woman had and that she believed she could get the help she needed. So on, so on, so on. So basically, this story arrived to Pedro. And when Pedro saw her in the first time, okay, it was a benign tumor, so it was a good one. But obviously, it was covering half of her face because it had been growing for years. And the first thing he said to Salma, which obviously was deeply affected, and this was obviously a trauma for her, told her, I'm going to leave you beautiful. I'm going to, he's such a brave person, and people that literally have not been given a diagnosis and have been told, you're just going to die, that's how it is. You know, he doesn't know many times when he's performing a surgery on when he decides to do so. He doesn't know if it's going to be successful. Many cases, like the person might die, it's a chance, but he still takes a chance. And in most of the cases, it's successful. And then this life's person changes completely. It's like they're born again. And that's how Salma felt. I'm going to leave the picture here. Obviously, the main point of this surgery was just to seek and search for symmetry in the face. And I know you might think it's not perfect, but just compare it and imagine you're Salma. Imagine how you will feel. Imagine generally how you will feel. And especially living in Morocco, there was no need anymore to feel like she was a monster. I'm also going to leave a picture of them together here. And this is what I love about this plastic surgeon, Pedro, is that it's not only like he does the job and helps for free, because she did also, all these surgeries on Salma were done for free. is the fact that you can see that he has a good heart, because you see that he genuinely cares for those people's life and necessity, needs. He cares, like you can see it. And I think that's what really, really makes him so special, because he could do the job and just be serious, but you can see he really gets involved. And I think that's why he's so successful, because he literally puts love into what he does. He's not just seeing it as something he has to do, but something he wishes to do. I feel like that's his purpose in life. And that's one case. Now we're going to talk about another case, very similar issue. It's a man called Mike in Kenya. He's 35 years old, okay, this is the context. Not given a diagnosis, left to die, abandoned. They've literally told him, you're gonna die. He felt like he was abandoned like a dog. For 15 years, that tumor was growing, because obviously it's untreated, kept growing and growing and growing. Pedro found about him through Cruz Roja, this organization, Cruz Roja, right? Humanitarian. And then he was like, I can fix that. It took, I think, 4 interventions during years and years, because his tumor was literally, I believe, the same size as Mike's face. And I want to tell you Mike's surname. So the surname is Mike Coach, okay? As I'm saying, he's just been told you're gonna die, but Pedro is like, okay, I can fix it. Obviously, Pedro and his team took care of bringing him, and he was performed 5 surgeries, not 4, 5, in the hospital of Manises. That is absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, his tumor is bad, so they don't really know how long he will live. I'm not sure if Mike is alive to this day, but they obviously have offered him an amazing quality of life, because also he, in Kenya, he was seen as an outcast, people thought he was a monster, and, not being accepted by society, by the society you're surrounded with daily. It must be something that really, really shapes you in a negative way, because it must be very mentally challenging, right? So after this, they don't know how long he will live, but they will know that he has a better life, that's for sure. Mike and Pedro became actually friends. Mike has a few kids, right? And his job is transporting people on his motorbike from one place to the other. So now he was able to do so, right? Because obviously he's more confident, people don't get scared when they see him. And now he's able to perform that job that will allow him to feed his family. So he was incredibly grateful for that, because as he said, in Kenya, you have to really fight to survive. Like, there's no other way. You really have to work hard every single day if you want to feed your family and you want to be fine and healthy and alive. So that gave him a new amazing opportunity, and hopefully many, many years living. They became friends, okay? This is why Pedro is so amazing as well, is he doesn't only do the surgery, he gets involved. So they became friends, as I said, and this is such a beautiful story. You know what happened? Okay, so whilst Mike was going through all these surgeries, he had his second daughter, and he is and was so incredibly grateful to Pedro that he told him, Pedro, I want you. I want to honor you, and I want you to name my second daughter. Insane, no? But imagine, this man has just been born again. So Pedro, which also is so beautiful, after thinking about which name, his mother had recently passed away, and she was a very sensitive woman, very loving, and Pedro knew if she knew about this story, she would have been crying for days out of love and how beautiful it was. So Pedro said, okay, I want you to give your daughter my mother's name, Carmen. So that's what Mike did. And now his daughter is called Carmen Coach, which is probably the only Carmen Coach almost in the whole world, because it's such a different name, right? the combination. So I think that's such a gorgeous story, and just seeing the pictures, seeing how this man's life changed. I mean, I truly have no words. And I've also read that every year Pedro performs more than 1,800 surgeries. And I just don't have any single word to say how proud I am at this very moment to say I'm Spanish, which is quite funny because in Spain, if you say you're proud to be Spanish, people hate on you, especially young people. Like, seriously, in Spain, you cannot really have a Spanish flag on your balcony unless you make it very clear it's because you love football. Like, because I remember in high school, like, if you say, oh, I love Spain, or, oh my, people will be like, seriously, you'll be hated. But then everyone is wearing like the t-shirt with the United States or Britain or England. It's like, it's just a bit like hypocrite, right? But in this moment, more than any time, I feel very proud to be Spanish and to also appreciate our people and what they do. And to think that we have such an amazing doctor and plastic surgeon here that is being a pioneer in so many things, like the first facial transplant, including tongue and throat in Spain, lasted more than 24 hours and was successful. I mean, that is truly something. That is truly something. And I do believe most of Spanish people don't even know who Pedro Cavadas is. And I'm very proud that this man is alive to this day. He's 58 years old and he still lives for this purpose. And I truly believe that he should be worth. I truly believe he should be known. I also think he's a very intelligent man because he talks about how, and this is just something else, but I've seen it in many interviews, and he talks about when people are prescribed pills for depression, at the end of the day, that's making someone rich. And obviously, even though, yeah, some people might really need it and be really depressed, but they're given to most people that are just sad for a period of time. Someone is just a bit sad for a period of time. Okay, you take these pills and that company is becoming rich. So at the end of the day, it's something to think about because it is like that with every single thing. I hope you enjoyed listening to this man's story and how amazing everything that he's doing is and how much he's changing the world, because people like this do deserve to be known everywhere and are really changing the world now and for the future generations. Just the fact that he's daring to do such brave things that no one has done before and he's been successful. He's opening such a wide range of possibilities for plastic surgeons in the future, and also people that have these massive problems are actually seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. They're thinking, maybe I have a chance to have a good life. Maybe this is not the end. And I think that's so beautiful. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to go into the internet and research Fundación Pedro Cavadas, you can see more of what he does, and I'm sure there's a way to help. So if you want to take a look, that'll be so cool. Also, he's done so many amazing things that I literally mentioned 10%. So if you just want to find out most of the amazing things he's done, just Google his achievements and you will be absolutely amazed. ChatGPT also does it very well, and I could be reading all day about all the achievements he's made. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.